What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a quick follow-up video on the Ryker over here. Now if you happen to miss my last video, I did go ahead and install the metal handguard brackets on the handlebars over here, which they really do add another level of protection to your hands when you're driving. From any kind of road debris that actually might come up off the road and smack you in the hand, those handguards really help with that. They also help with a little bit of air deflection as well. But these metal handguard brackets also act as a foundation for other upgrades such as LED lights and air deflectors. So that's what we're going to be getting into today. As I mentioned in that last video when I installed the brackets, I already ordered the air deflectors. They were just on back order. Well, they just came in and that's what we're going to do today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox them and let's get them installed on the bike. Okay, so as you can see over here, we already went ahead and put the metal brackets on to the handlebars here, which really do add another level of protection to your hands. So they definitely block a little bit of wind. It already has the cutouts, so if you want to add custom LED lights in here, you can buy those separate as well. And they do protect you from any kind of road debris, branches that might blow up, or rocks that might flick up from the street. It'll protect your knuckles from getting hit by any of that debris. Because keep in mind, even when you get a windshield on here, which I have a windshield, I just usually don't use it. But even when you put a windshield on here, it's only blocking some of the wind at your chest. There is typically nothing stopping anything from hitting your knuckles, which is why these brackets here come in very handy. Okay, so let's go ahead and open the box. In the box, you're gonna have your installation kit that tells you about all of the hardware and how to install it. So all that information is right here as well. Set that to the side. Okay, everything's nice and bubble wrapped. Here you go here, nice looking finish. Set that aside. Same thing, bubble wrap to protect it. Here's your other deflector right there. Here's your brackets for each one, right here like that. A couple other brackets. Now again, these are all like a heavy duty plastic, so they're not metal. But for a wind deflector, that's all you need. And then you have some hardware pieces here. Okay, so I just separated everything into the left side and the right side, and I opened up my hardware package here. Now, going over some of the directions here, it's very simple. There's basically two different ways of doing this up front, and it all depends if you have the light kit or not. So as I mentioned before, these cutouts right here, you can get an available LED light kit that mounts in this bracket, and you have the LED lights through here. I don't have the LED light kit right now, so that's something I might do at a later date, so we can skip past that. If you have the LED light kit, you will not need this bracket here. This bracket here just kind of fills in that gap and plugs those holes a little bit and gives you a solid foundation to mount your bracket to. So what you do is you take this bracket here. Now you could do this installation with these metal brackets on, or you could take them off. I'm gonna try to do it leaving them on to save myself some time. So you're gonna take this bracket here, figure out which one goes to the left and which one goes to the right. You can pretty much line it up by looking at the shapes here, okay? Line this up and it pops in just like that. So as you can see here, it lines up real good with those holes. Now this back hole is left open because there's a plug for that. So basically from behind, all you're gonna do is sit it in there, and it doesn't bolt, it just sits in there because when you put your other bracket in, the other bracket pushes this in place. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here, set this down, and grab our other bracket. So you tuck it in a little bit on the one side, and tuck the other side in, and then it pops in place just like that. Okay, so you can kind of see here from the back, you're gonna have a mounting bolt here we'll do in a minute, and then you'll have a bolt with a plug on the side here. So basically this right here is gonna plug up all of that air and create a little bit of a bottom air dam down here so that air doesn't come up under your hands as well. So this particular kit here is really helping close in that air gap for your fingers and your hands. So once we get that mounted in, you're gonna bolt it in with a bolt and two washers right here. And then on this side here, you're gonna use a screw with a plug. And once you get that in, then we'll put the air deflector on the front. So let me go ahead and set the camera up so that you have a good angle to see what I'm doing, and then we'll come right back and get this installed. Okay, so let me go ahead and pop this out for a second. I'll set that there for right now. So because I do not have the light kit, I'm going to go ahead and put my plug in over here. So you want this little kind of button tab sticking off to the right. Now remember, we're on the left side of the bike, and you want this groove to be on the side, okay? So all you're gonna do is tuck that in just like that and hold it in place. Now it's probably easier to do this when these are taken off the bike, just to get to the screw here with your Allen wrench, but you're gonna need a small Allen wrench, but we're gonna try to do this without taking the brackets off. So once you put the plug in here and you hold it in place with your finger, you're gonna slide this bracket over top of it and push it right in place, just like that, okay? So that's basically what it's gonna look like, just like that. All right. So then, what you gotta do is get a bolt, one of these black bolts, right here like this, a little tiny black bolt. And then you're gonna get 2 washers. So now we're gonna have the black bolt and 2 washers. And then I always put a little bit of blue Loctite on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna push the bolt. Let's see if I can do it like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with a bolt with a washer on the front and stick that through just like that, okay? This way I won't have to worry about the head of this bolt popping through the plastic. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put a drop of the blue Loctite on, okay? So just like this. Just a drop, nothing major. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put my washer on the back, just like that. Then I'm gonna tuck it in here while holding that bolt in place. Okay. Okay, all right, so I think I got my bolt lined up. This is where it probably would be easier to do while the hand guards are taken off the bike. But I don't feel like doing that. We're gonna just try to see if we can do it like this. Let me see if I can do this. But this is gonna be the hardest part right here, is trying to use an Allen wrench in such a tight spot. So can it be done? Absolutely. Would it be easier to install these while the metal hand guards are removed? Yes, but I've already blue Loctited everything down pretty good. So I really don't want to have to undo all that and then do it all over again. But again, as you can see here, it's working. You just got to take your time and get a small Allen wrench down in here and tighten the bolt up. That's it. All I'm doing is taking my Allen wrench down in here like this and tightening that one bolt up. Okay, so we went ahead and got this inner bolt tightened up nice and tight. Now this right here, we just have to go right under here. Okay, so as you can see here, there's like sort of a pre-drilled hole started because there's gonna be a plug here that we're gonna use, which looks like this, okay? And it has a little hole here, and then you're gonna have a little small screw that looks like this. You're gonna put the screw through the back, and then this plug goes right in here like that, and the screw goes right into that hole. So let me go do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, the screw pops through right here. You're just gonna take your plug and stick it in there, and then screw that screw into that plug right there, and then that'll tighten down the inner fairing. So let me go finish that up, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I got the inner bolt tightened down, and I got the bolt in here tightened down, and it just basically screws into that plug in the back. Now keep in mind, this is all plastic, so you don't want to screw that in too tight. As soon as it starts to feel snug, stop. If you want to, maybe use a little blue Loctite. Now what I would also recommend, I didn't do on here, I still might, because when you wiggle this around, it still wiggles a little bit, because keep in mind, it's plastic, right? So what I would even recommend is if you happen to have some type of double-sided sticky tape or 3M tape or something like that, maybe put a little bit of the 3M tape behind here. So when you pop it in and screw it in, it'll hold it from wiggling around a little bit. So once you get that screwed in, there's your protection right there. So again, when your hand's here, this little wing down here is gonna stop a lot of the air from coming up under your hand. So it really helps protect the bottom of your fingers when they're curled up under the hand grip. So that right there is how easy that is. So behind this is that initial little bracket that plugs these holes. Okay, and then I use a bolt with a washer from this side. I put a washer on the back side, little blue Loctite, and bolted this into the metal bracket housing. So there is metal attached to metal here. But over here, it's a metal bolt screwing into a plastic plug. So you just want to make sure you're careful on this side so that you're not over tightening in it and then you break that plastic plug. And then the last part is very simple. You're going to take your air deflector here and it's going to bolt right up under there. I don't know if you can see with the light. There's 2 bolt holes already part of this metal bracket. You're going to take 2 more of those black bolts and bolt it up right just like that. So it's going to help protect your hands above just like that. So let me go ahead and do that real quick and we'll be right back. So again, you're just going to be using 2 of those black bolts like this. And I would recommend a little bit of blue Loctite on there as well. Come up underneath the bottom of the metal bracket in the front, screw them down, and you should be good. So let me go do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're done on the left side of the bike. We got the internal wind deflector mounted on the inside of the metal bracket. I would still recommend using a 3M tape behind it to hold it in place better, but if you don't, no big deal. It still holds in pretty tight. Then you're going to take your wind deflector on the outside, use 2 of the black bolts, and then I used 2 washers from the outside with a little blue Loctite. And then I went ahead and I screwed it in from the bottom, right under here. Okay, so I used a bolt of a washer, screwed it into the bottom of the metal bracket. So you actually have pretty good mounting points right here because it's a metal screw into a metal bracket with a little blue Loctite. That'll hold that on pretty nice and tight. And then over here, again, you have a metal bolt going into a metal bracket, so the internal was held on pretty tight. This left one is just a metal bolt going into a plastic threaded plug. So you're gonna make sure just make sure you do not over tighten this side over here. And then if you use a little bit of a 3M tape behind it, just to really help give it a little bit more of a sticky, snug, secure mount, that would work even better. But I didn't use any of the 3M tape because I didn't have any more. But I would recommend it just to make sure nothing is moving around. But overall, it feels pretty tight. That's what it's gonna look like here from the front. Sorry for the bad lighting in here. It's just a overcast day. It's been raining on and off out here. So I'm trying to get this filmed, but I'm getting really bad lighting here. But this is what it looks like. So let me go ahead and do the right side real quick. Once I get both sides done, I'll pull the bike out here in the driveway. Hopefully the rain stops for a little bit and I can show you what it looks like when it's finally done. But overall, it does look pretty good. And again, you still have very good hand protection here. I mean, you have the wind deflector here, which will deflect the wind up and over your hand. You have the internal wind deflector, which will take the wind and force it down so that your fingertips that are curled up under here, your fingertips won't get cold. So this setup right here is very simple and easy. So let me go ahead and do the opposite side and we'll be right back. Okay, and just a little tip. When you're trying to gain access to the screws under here, if you have a shorter Allen wrench, that will be easier because, you know, it gets a little tight under here. But what I did, because I only have longer Allen wrenches, I tilted my steering wheel so that the bolt holes were pretty much right above the front glove box. And then I opened the glove box. That way I had plenty of room for tightening up these bolts with a longer Allen wrench. So that's what I did there. So I got them both hooked up. Let's go ahead and pull this out in the driveway and take a closer look. Okay, so we just pulled out in the driveway here. The rain is temporarily holding off. It's been storming on and off all day, and then as soon as it dries, it rains again. So let's just try to get this covered. So you can see right here, they have a nice bit of coverage to them. So again, you can see you have plenty of coverage underneath, under here from the internal wind deflector, and then you have plenty of coverage from up top from the exterior wind deflector here. And then these holes were plugged as well so that no wind is coming through there, freezing your hands as well. So now I have complete hand coverage from wind and cold on the hand grips. So this is what it looks from the front. Let's take a look from the back. So again, complete coverage here for the hands on both sides. Again, you have plenty of room here, even if you're wearing gloves. And that way, if you happen to be whipping any kind of road debris, rain, mud, slush, whatever the case is, your hand grips are going to be completely protected with these covers. And what I like about these covers is, again, these are not the Can-Am versions, because the Can-Am version costs a lot more. These ones here I got off Amazon. I'll put the links in the description for everything. The metal brackets were around $63, and the wind deflector kit was around $63, give or take. So for right around $125, I now have metal brackets that are protecting my hand from any harder, bigger debris, and I have lower and higher wind deflectors protecting my hands from the harsh cold and elements so that my hands aren't going numb, and protecting them while we're driving. But overall, I think it looks good. It has a cool look on the bike. It looks pretty aggressive still. I think it looks pretty awesome. Okay, everybody, so there you go. I told you it was going to be pretty simple, quick, and easy. It was a very easy install. Again, without filming, I'd say it would probably take you no more than a half an hour tops. Probably even 15 minutes if you know what you're doing. It's a very simple and easy install, but I can tell you this, it definitely helps protect your hands better when you're driving out on the road. Or in case the car in front of you is spitting up all kinds of debris at you, it's going to protect your hands, which is very important because, again, your hand grips need to be comfortable and secure to maintain safety on these bikes. So the metal grips are going to help protect your hands, and then the wind deflectors at the top and the bottom are going to help protect your hands from any of that cold weather that might be making your hands numb. It's definitely going to help with that as well. So again, this install is a very inexpensive and easy way to protect your hand grips when you're riding your Ryker. So that's it for today's video. I hope this video helps some of you out. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button and like this video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And also do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. So that's it for today's video. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. And as always, see you in the next video.